sit back, relax and enjoy the show.
The fairy tale is complete. The Central Coast Mariners, champions of Australia.
Saturday afternoon football in the Isuzu Ute A-League competition. And they don't come much bigger than this. The F3 derby, just north of Sydney, for regional supremacy between the side from Gosford, the reigning Australian champions, the Central Coast Mariners. They're on the road north to the Newcastle Jets. And this one, as you can see, is for the fans of these two sides. They're not only playing for 3 points in the championship, they are playing for one of the most iconic football trophies probably anywhere in world football. There it is, the F3 Derby trophy, that core sample from the old highway. And then the Ballon d'Or alongside at the match ball, as we see the two sides, these best of enemies in the Isuzu Ute tunnel camp. Passions running high. The local rivalry on the national stage. The Central Coast Mariners in excellent form after a rocky start to their title defence. It all came good at home against Newcastle, their first win of the season by 3-1. It set them on a run where they have lost just one of 15 in the Isuzu Ute A-League. For the Jets, they need to turn things around, and sooner rather than later. Just one win in their last 9. They're winless in their last 5. But they have a few home matches coming up for Brandon O'Neill and his side to try and use that to their advantage. As we have a look at the two sides, Rob Stanton has made 2 changes from the 2-2 draw with MacArthur. Daniel Wilmering makes his 5th start for Newcastle on the left side of the attack, and there's a first start of the season for local boy Archie Goodwin, who scored against the Mariners earlier this season. He's alongside the league's top scorer, Apostolos Stamatolopoulos, and his 14 goals. Otherwise, no changes at the back, where Philip Kankar is preferred to Nathan Grimaldi for the 2nd week in a row, and Callum Timmins continues at the expense of Costa Grozos. Well, 22-year-old Lucas Moragas has played every single match this season. He has 3 assists to go with his goal against Brisbane. That goal, the 3rd of his career. The first 2, you guessed it, came in F3 derbies against the local rivals. He also earned the last-minute penalty for the equaliser last week. Well, for the visitors, coach Mark Jackson is without Alu Kuol and Ronald Barcelus due to suspension, but he does welcome back Jake Farrell, the left back, also having served a 1-game ban. He replaces Nathan Paul, while Jing Rees, who scored his first ever A-League goal against Newcastle earlier this season, he's preferred to Ryan Edmondson in attack. In midfield, Brad Tapp is aligned alongside Max Ballard, which means Josh Nisbet can get forward. Nisbet, whose first ever A-League goal came 2 years ago in this very fixture. He has 3 in 113 in the A-League, but 6 assists this term, the most in a single season of his career as well. Also of note for the Mariners, a return of Harrison Steele. He's recovered from that broken bone in his foot, and he takes his place on the bench for the first time in 2024. Rob Stanton, the Newcastle Jets coach, he knows the importance of this fixture. He's got the youngest side in the competition. Mark Jackson likewise, he has the 2nd youngest side in the competition, and the young guns will be leaving it all out on the pitch. And to make sure they don't go overboard, we have our match referee Adam Kersey, who's approaching the century mark for him. It's the 2nd time he takes charge of an F3 derby. The last was a 3-2 win for the Mariners here in Newcastle back in March 2019. Well, the F3 derby is never just another match, but this one is extra special. The Jets can reignite their finals hopes if they can pick up 3 points and end a run of 3 consecutive losses against the Mariners. While the Mariners, they can move provisionally top of the table if they can pick up an 11th win of the campaign. Daniel McBreen, it's always a spicy game.
It always is, Robbie. Welcome, everybody. What better way for the Newcastle Jets to spoil the party for the Mariners? Stop them going the top of the table, albeit until Wellington play. The Mariners would love to consign the Jets to the bottom. Keep them down there, keep the foot on the throat, don't let them come up. Bragging rights on the line as ever.
Well, there's nothing the fans of these two sides want more than, obviously, to see their own colours atop the mast. But if they can't always do that, then you want to see your rivals at half-mast, shall we say. Certainly the case for the Jets this season. Here's Mikel Docker. He's been in fantastic form of late, and he curls that one towards the back post, looking for Jing Rees, who's recalled the last start for Jing Rees came in the AFC Cup zonal playoff match against MacArthur, a 3-2 win. And now Mark Natter, who's just re-signed, ball forward, and then Stamatolopoulos. Oh, you can see what he was trying to do. Hit it early, try and catch Vukovic off his line.
Well, it's a sign of a player, a striker in form and full of confidence, isn't it? Pulled it down with the chest. It was a little bit on the stretch, but saw Danny Vukovic just a little bit off his line and thought, well, the lob's on here, I'll give it a crack.
A player in form and a player who is generating plenty of interest, both in Australia and abroad, by all accounts, and he's not the only one in this Jets side. Stamatolopoulos has been linked with Championship sides and Serie B sides. Clayton Taylor, who's just signed a new deal with the Jets, has also been linked with a move away. And Phil Moss, our co-commentator, who's currently on duty in Ballarat, where Western United is taking on Perth Glory, just announced that Trent Bahaja has signed for a Serie B club for next season. Well, he starts on the bench. Perhaps that's where the Serie B rumours come from as well for Stamatolopoulos, but it's not official yet. But Mossy's just dropped that one on Paramount Plus.
Old scoop, Mossy. He's got the inside knowledge, but they have done a little bit of tidying up in that respect and signed a few players, as you mentioned, Clayton Taylor,
Mark Natter,
and there's one more as well, wasn't
Nathan
there?
Grimaldi.
Grimaldi, yeah, all in the last 2 weeks being announced that they've signed. So they are locking down their young guns, the ones that they see are doing well. So other clubs may want to come in and start looking at these players. Well, you're going to have to pay a price for them if that's the case.
Well, we know that modern football is about the business as well. The key is to get it all in sync and have a team that's making money to bring in the new players to stay competitive at the highest level, and that's certainly what the Mariners have been able to do. You look at their side and how different it is from the team that won the grand final in such flamboyant manner last season. Aquilina, he was looking for Archie Goodwin. Need to have a chat about him as well. Macca, the youngster, 15th appearance of the season, first start. He's had so many problems, mostly with this very serious back injury, chronic, that just wouldn't go away. It's hampered his young career. But we heard from Rob Stanton, the Newcastle coach, in the pre-game talking to Tristan McManus, who said he's worked so hard that he deserves this, and we know that he knows where the back of the net is as well.
Yeah, he's a very good striker. And as you say, a couple of years really blighted with injury. It was one and then the other, and then the back injury. And just when he thought in the off-season that surgery had sorted the back injury out, broke down again and had to go back in and get it redone. So it's been a long process this season to get him to the point where he can start a game, and right from the very start, Rob Stanton said, we won't be rushing him. We can't afford to rush him. He's had that many setbacks. He needs to get it right now.
And he's still just 19 years of age, and only just 19 as well. What it also gives this Newcastle side is another goal outlet, because aside from Trent Bahaja's 5, it's been all about AP Stamatolopoulos up front. Perhaps Archie Goodwin can help shoulder a little bit of that load. It's the Mariners that have the ball at the moment, though. The side that, after playing a new formation last week, look as though they've reverted to essentially a back 4, but certainly one that changes with or without the ball. That's a good ball over the top for Farrell, returning, and the flag is up for offside as he went tumbling to the ground.
Well, there's an example of the change. When they have the ball, the Mariners, they go to a back 3. Farrell or Roux, one of them will push high. Nisbet will come in as a 10, as well as Angel Torres, as they has a box midfield, so it becomes like a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2, whichever way the guys up the top stay. So they're very fluid with their formation, with and without the ball.
And this constant changing in formation as well means you've got to have intelligent footballers and a coach that knows how to communicate with them. The Mariners have certainly shown that they are that side this season. Here's Natta with Philip Kankar. Had a little spell on the sideline. Nathan Grimaldi came in and made 6 appearances. And, received rave reviews as well.
Signed his contract and went back to the bench.
The youngster who come through from the APL side as Farrell closes down Ingham, and he's got the free kick. Is that for a high boot?
Yeah, it was a poor touch from Ingham. It just popped up in the air and then he stuck the boot up as Farrell went to chest the ball. See here, or head the ball, sorry.
Docker goes back on his preferred right side. Max Ballard, he's done well. That's a fantastic pass, picking out Farrell. The cross towards Jing Rees. Well, that was a good cross as well. Rees just couldn't get on the end of it. But how about the pass from Max Ballard to open up that move?
Well, we were directly behind that, weren't we? You could see as he was shaping up, it was just a lovely ball. Split the defence beautifully. Jacob Farrell will be saying to his strikers, you need to be there. I'm going to put that ball across the 6-yard. We'll get there. Put it in the back of the net.
Ryan Edmondson, the Englishman, is on the bench. Still looking for his first goal in the A-League, but picked up a hat-trick against Phnom Penh in the AFC Cup regional semi-finals. There again, looking for the overlapping runs of Jacob Farrell down the left-hand side. It is an outlet for the Mariners. Harrison Steele in there, back on the bench. You can see the smile on his face as well. It's been a long time between drinks for him with that broken foot. Both coaches prowling around their technical areas at the moment as they settle in to the match. Here's Goodwin. Farrell nudging in with the challenge. Brendan O'Neill intercepting his pass, and no way through for Callum Timmins. In his second season with the Jets, and perhaps just starting to crack a starting role. Moragas, quick feet, but he was surrounded by blue and white. Kaltak elected for the most difficult option. And then Ballard as well, trying to flick it out the side. It's Nisbet back to clean up. Docker with Stormroo. Nisbet, that's a good turn.
They did very well there, didn't he, Nisbet? There's plenty of Jets pressure. Because that's such a low centre of gravity, you can turn very quickly.
Just a couple of loose passes from both sides, putting their teammates under pressure. Natta looks long, but Wilmering can't run onto that one. There's no Trent Bahaja out there, and I don't think even Trent Bahaja, who is very, very quick, would have got on that.
The pitch is, I think it's going to skid through. It's very slippery out there.
You can see clearly the three at the back in possession of the ball for the Mariners. When Docker and Farrell are wide, you've got Nisbet and Angel Torres, who are two very creative and dangerous players in the number 10 roles behind a hard-running Jing Reese. I guess you'd almost say in the Alu Kuol role for a player that's there to put the pressure on, to make the runs in behind, to stretch the Jets' defence. And Kuol, who's, as part of that role, is picking up yellow cards, I guess, in a certain respect anyway. He's got 5 of them and is missing today. Ballard again, looking for the big switch. Farrell waiting for the run. Oh, it wasn't a bad idea in the end.
That was the right idea, wasn't it? He just got the concrete boot out and just walloped it through. It was a lovely run around the outside from Torres. Waited and waited for the run and just clubbed it over the back line.
Again manages to get it out the side to the Brazilian Mikael Docker. Interesting for Rob Stanton, he's got Daniel Wilmering on the left and Aquilina on the right, who are also very comfortable as fullbacks, playing higher up. It's almost double fullbacks on each flank to try and look after the threat posed by the Mariners in those wide positions. Free kick is for the Mariners. Stamatolopoulos initiating the foul. Brandon O'Neill finishing it.
I think it was more just the lean in the back from Stamatolopoulos.
That's Ballard with the delivery. That's an excellent defensive header from Dane Ingham. Under plenty of pressure. Torres with Kaltak. Ballard again. The Jets stepping out well. The pressure from Timmins forcing the Mariners back.
They're very compact, aren't they, Newcastle Jets? Not leaving much space in that midfield area, forcing the Mariners to go wide or looking to maybe play a ball over the top.
You can see the 4-4-2 there of the Jets, who are concentrating very hard at the moment on trying to contain the Mariners. Both these sides have opened the scoring 10 times this season. Only MacArthur have done that more. The problem for Newcastle has been they've only won 4 of those 10. The Mariners have won 9. Good first-time pass from Kaltak. Farrell just didn't quite have the legs that time, but Ingham claims he had the ankles clipped. Reese wins an attacking throw. The Mariners do love to transition quickly. They have a couple of players who are very tricky against a low block in Nisbet and Torres, and it looks as though that's going to be their challenge for this afternoon. Good ball from Rue, looking for Nisbet. He might yet get another bite of the cherry. Now Wilmering. For Stamatolopoulos. Tap takes over. With Farrell. There's a little bit of space for Docker on this near side, and you can see Ingham and Moragas trying to cover all bases at the moment. That's cleverly done. Nisbet, he's in behind them here. The cut back for Ballard. Shot deflected. And it's going to be a first corner of the match in favour of the away side.
Well, it was just as you were saying about Moragas and Ingham having to cover that space, that Moragas was drawn out, leaving the space in behind. See here, he comes racing out to Docker. And there's Nisbet straight in behind. Has a look and can see there's not too much in the way of help. And then the shot deflected behind for a corner.
Look at the technique of Max Ballard here. Really is like Johnny Wilkinson, the England rugby player in the old days, the way he steps out his set pieces. Oh, as Torres has been caught in possession by Aquilina. He is quick, Aquilina. He invites the challenge and then skips past. It's well played. Here's Stamatolopoulos. Can Newcastle find something on the counter-attack? Stamatolopoulos went to ground. It's a good challenge from O'Neill. Archie Goodwin back in. Play continues. Moragas. Wilmering. The cross is under-hit, but it's still going to fall to Ingham. Another run from O'Neill. The cross. And Vukovic finally claws it back under control.
Well, there was 2 or 3 occasions there where you thought the Mariners had done the job and got rid of the danger, but the Jets weren't going to let it lie, were they? They pressured, they harried, they got the ball back, and they created a half chance, and it wasn't a bad ball in the end. Danny Vukovic was scrambling. Just needed that run across the front post.
It was that little bit of scrappy fight from Newcastle that perhaps they can ruffle a few feathers like that. Certainly it's the Mariners in this opening 19 minutes who have been in control of the football, who are trying to play the more constructive, composed football. Nisbet with Tapp, who's able to turn in the middle of the park, and again there's space for Farrell. The cross towards Jing Reese. It's beyond him. Docker now. Now it's taken a touch on the way through, so it's another corner.
Well, again, Jacob Farrell does it so well, doesn't he? Advanced on that left-hand side. Took a good first touch forward and had a look. Had to wait again for the strikers to get there.
Now, Mikael Docker taking this corner. He goes back post towards Farrell. Well, Brandon O'Neill wasn't watching the ball at all and almost got caught out there. Now that cross all the way for Docker against Wilmering. Docker still going. And it's Stamatolopoulos in the end that helps his defence get that clear.
Well, Brendan O'Neill was playing a dangerous game there, wasn't he? He wasn't watching the ball, collided with Jacob Farrell as he was about to attack the ball. I think it was just enough for the referee to let it go.
Farrell again with Kaltak. They're all forward for the Mariners. It's a great ball, and just got caught in two minds perhaps a little bit there, Jacob Farrell.
Yeah, I think at first he thought, I'll just play this across first time, and then changed his mind at the last second, was just stretching a little. And as I said, it's a little bit of a greasy surface down there, so sometimes those touches can be a little hard to rein in. You see here, I think he was thinking about just getting there on the half volley or the volley and getting it across first time, and once it bounces, it skips away.
The noise you can hear is from the active support of the Mariners, who are making plenty of noise. They've travelled in great numbers. There's that agreement between the two clubs that members have entry to the derby, home or away, as Nisbet, the little 1-2 with Docker. Storm Rue is there in support. It's back inside with Nisbet. Now Torres on that dangerous left foot. Tap now, opening up. Now that's taken, not a deflection on the way through. Let's go down to Tristan McManus, who's down there under somewhat menacing skies this afternoon, Tristan.
Menacing skies. I haven't looked up once, Robbie. I'm just enjoying this whole atmosphere. It's awesome here. You mentioned the Mariners' active support there, all the travelling fans, they've been great, but so too have the squadron here of the home fan. I mean, everyone loves attacking football, and that's what we get from both of these teams. The home fans generally here are quite reactive, in the sense that as soon as they attack, they're all for it. They hate sideways passes, they hate backwards passes, and I absolutely love it. We've got two great teams here, of course a derby, but two attacking teams, and that's what every league needs, and lucky our A-League has that too.
Fantastic, Tristan. You're our very own Vibes manager on Paramount Plus. It is true, the Jets, they're a plucky side, and their fans want to see them represent them in a courageous and attacking way. It doesn't always have to be polished football, but they always have to give 100%. Vukovic decides to go long. It won't be an easy one for Jing Reese. It's a good leap over Mark Natter. Timmins with Aquilina. First time ball, just in fact it was Stamatolopoulos looking for Aquilina.
Well, as predicted, there hasn't been too much goalmouth entertainment in the opening 20-25 minutes. They usually are a bit of a tentative, scrappy affair early on until one team really settles in.
That was just before half-time in the match in Gosford earlier this season, when Farrell and Storm Rue combined for the opening goal. And then it was another couple of unlikely sources. Will Wilson and Jing Reese both scoring their first ever A-League goals. Archie Goodwin pulled one back, and it looked for a moment as though the Jets might just find a way back into the game. Back then, of course, the Mariners were 4 losses from 4 at the start of the season. That seems but a distant memory now, doesn't it? They're into the AFC Cup interzonal semi-finals. They can go top of the table here. The squad, by all accounts, loving working under coach Mark Jackson. It's nicely done by Tapp. Little ball through. Oh, he almost found Jacob Farrell as well. Well, there's confidence for you from these youngsters.
He looked to be running down a dead end, didn't he? Nowhere to go, and then all of a sudden he just tried to play it with the outside of the foot. Almost squeezed it through. Dane Ingham was alert though. Cut it out at the opportune moment for the Jets.
And here's Moragas. Wilmering back. There was some news which sent a little tremor through the Mariners this week. There's Dane Ingham. Oh, that's cleverly done. Stamatolopoulos. Well, Ingham hasn't scored a goal for the Jets. And he was in a good position to shoot there before electing to try and play in Stamatolopoulos.
Well, it was a good run from Stamatolopoulos, and the ball wasn't a bad one either. You see here, and this, again, just runs a little too far for Stamatolopoulos. Danny Vukovic does well, gets out and closes down the angle.
We'll come back to the little tremor in the Mariners' world after this corner, which Lucas Moragas is going to take. In it comes, plenty of pace and bend on it. Dealt with by Vukovic. Now, there are players streaming forward. Jingrees looks back to Docker. It's well read by Aquilina. Torres and Nisbet were flying forward. Aquilina's cross is blocked. And it's going to be another corner as the Mariners, who are normally so good in transition, just didn't quite know how to play that one.
No, they didn't get that one right. I think it was Angel Torres who was on the far side screaming for the ball. I think it was up against Brandon O'Neill and asking for the ball to be played in front of him. Instead it was turned over and it's ended up a defensive corner.
Brandon O'Neill now takes charge of this set piece. And it comes again. Vukovic claims, and he has a good long look to see if there's any quick break on. There's not this time. So that newsmaker of Sean Mielecamp standing down after 9 years as CEO. He was there during the darkest hours of the club and the wooden spoon, and then one of the real architects of their rise from the flames all the way to the championship last season, a crowning glory. Nicely done, Docker. Oh, that's clever. Here's Nisbet. Looks early. Oh, and Jingrees almost got there as well. Not quite sure he knew where the ball was by the end of it. Kaltak has caught Stamatolopoulos, and it's the first booking of the match just before the half hour.
Well, just on Sean Mielecamp, I have to give out a huge shout out to him as the CEO. Through the dark times and when things weren't going great, he never shied away from everything. He was always front and centre. He owned the problems of the club. He owned the mistakes the club had made. And I think with his attitude and the way he conducted himself in those moments is why, one of the reasons why the club is where it is now. Don't pass the buck on to anyone else. It's our problems to fix. And he's done such a remarkable job, and it was so great to see him last year when the club won the grand final, won the championship, and just the relief and the emotion he had seeing the club go from literally the basement to the penthouse. So bravo, Sean Mielecamp.
Well, we quite rightly celebrate the performances of the players on the pitch, the stars of football, but it's important to recognise the contribution of those behind the scenes, and especially in Australian football, those that get it right. It's missed by Goodwin, but here's Wilmering. Chips it back to the back post. Farrell, the only player there, and Torres just inviting the challenge of Kankar and going to ground, earning the free kick that will release the pressure, but it's been a good few minutes for Newcastle.
Yeah, it was a ball that really took everyone by surprise across the box. It skipped up off the surface. beat everyone.
Lovely touch, Nisbet, but closed down again by Moragas. Docker. Ballard. With Farrell. Bradley Tabb. Storm Roux. Little 1-2 intercepted by Archie Goodwin. Gets it out wide to Daningham. Now Aquilina takes off as Stamatolopoulos comes short, and it's intercepted by Farrell, and it had to be as well. Throw taken quickly, it's come off Farrell, so it'll be another set piece for Newcastle, who have had a little run of corners.
Well, it's Stamatolopoulos making those runs in the channels in the wide areas, just trying to stretch that Mariners defence. It's his running that has forced the corner.
Moragas delivers. Kaltak heads it straight back to Lucas Moragas. Now back post. Oh, Nata was just trying to cut inside into a dangerous position. Again, it's Kaltak with the defensive header. Well, the referee has seen a foul there.
No, I think
Given the throw.
Given the throw to the Mariners, I think he thought Docker kicked the ball off the Jets player, but he actually fell and scooped it with his own foot out.
Backheeled it straight out. Timmins looked a little bewildered towards referee Adam Kersey. That's come off Jingri, so it's a Jets ball. Timmins with Ingham. Aquilina's touch for Timmins. He's under pressure from Tapp. Now Kankar. The Jets who also like to get Moragas high and wide on the left-hand side, the left back. Timmins, it's well defended by Torres, cutting off the angles. Natter now drives it in towards Goodwin. Ballard is caught, and he and O'Neill are both down now. O'Neill's holding that left knee.
Just left a little short, wasn't it, from Storm Roux? And Ballard just got his leg and body across. And O'Neill just got caught underneath him. So that's more a contact injury rather than a twist of the knee underneath.
He's been in the wars a little bit the last couple of weeks, Brandon O'Neill. He emerged unscathed from that challenge by James Donachie, which resulted in a red card. Natter's header. Nisbet with the follow-up. He somehow emerged with the ball again, Nisbet, but his pass...
It's turning into a nice battle, that, isn't it? Kaltak and Stamatolopoulos.
The referee trying to stay on top of it for the moment. Here's Torres. Asking a little bit of Storm Roux, who manages to keep it in. Ballard with Nisbet. Little 1-2 with Torres. Nisbet into the feet of Docker. Here's Roux. Nice play by the Mariners. Ballard looks up and crosses. Torres was peeling off instead of cutting inside. Now Dan Hall. Outside with Storm Roux. Docker. They've had a couple of opportunities to play it out to the left, but Roux is getting forward on this right-hand side at the moment. Now Ballard comes inside, invites Farrell forward. Torres with Nisbet. Oh. Timmins with a clumsy challenge on Jacob Farrell, and this will be a more dangerous set piece with 10 minutes to go in the first half.
Well, it has been a solid defensive display from the Jets so far. Very compact. It was just a little clumsy. You see there, he tried to pull out of it actually and just slipped into the challenge. And this is a dangerous area.
Torres is there. Ballard as well. Torres, back post. More good defensive work from Dane Ingham, who's won a couple of very important headers at the back. Stamatolopoulos looks long, but Ballard is there. Not an easy one for Archie Goodwin. Defences have been on top so far in this one. Neither goalkeeper has been forced into a save so far. Is that about to change here with Nisbet for Ballard? Max Ballard just chipping it towards Roux. Well, it was clever again. If he'd just got a little more on that header, it could have been trouble for Scott.
Well, I think he just lost sight of it, didn't he? Didn't really get the flight of the ball there, Storm Roux, and as he went to flick it on, just got nothing but air. And that was a real dangerous moment for the Newcastle Jets. See here, he just mistimes it, doesn't he? Gets a little touch on that, and that could have been in the back of the net.
There might be a little space in behind again here with Docker. Turns inside, invites Roux forward down the right-hand side. Roux's crossed, left by Jingrees cleverly, and Nisbet just wouldn't sit for him as he tried to play it in front of himself. And after a good few minutes for the Jets, the Mariners are just wresting back control of this one. Kaltak all the way back to Vukovic. Kaltak again, Stamatolopoulos is trying to come in the blind side. They've found Nisbet in space, and now Docker. Torres. There's no Dane Ingham at home at the moment. The cross, the big switch for Storm Roux, but that's a difficult one for the New Zealand right back, and Wilmering up the line for Moragas.
Well, it's been a real cat and mouse game, this, hasn't it? As we said, not too much action in either box, but plenty of movement, plenty of structured play from both teams. Good defensive play as well.
Docker with tap. Roux's ball in. Oh, might fall for Ballard. Oh, and he's still looking for that first ever A-League goal, Max Ballard. And that was a really good opportunity to finally break the dark, and he knows it.
Well, it was a wonderful ball from Storm Roux as he comes in on his left foot, has a little look, and as the ball goes across, it just falls with Ballard, who predicts that it's coming and it deflects back. And then Ryan Scott with a wonderful save on the second attempt after blocking the initial one.
Just to paddle it away. Ballard. He'll get there, no. Not in time to prevent it going out of play.
Here's another look at that chance. It just falls to Ballard, who gambled at that near post. Ryan Scott had to do some friendly fire deflection there.
He did well. It's certainly as close as we've come. A first effort on target as well for the away side, even if it was tame in the end from Ballard. Kankar with Wilmering. Good challenge from Stormroux. Kept his eye on the ball the whole time. Ingham. Low and flat cross. And you can see the reflex of the Mariners so often is to just launch it forward at the first opportunity, thinking you're going to have those runners. It doesn't always come off, and Newcastle have the ball back again. Moragas, who's been one of these standout performers in recent weeks for the Jets, he's been kept largely under wraps this evening, in large part because the fact he's trying to deal with those two wide players coming at him every game.
They haven't had much possession either, have they, the Jets? Just at 36% at the moment. It's been more a case of sitting in that block, keeping it compact, keeping it narrow, not allowing the Mariners any space through the middle.
It's another ball that's not an easy one for Stormroux to try and negotiate. Kaltak gives it straight back to Brandon O'Neill. That's a clever pass for Wilmering inside with Stamatolopoulos now. Will that come off the hand? Stamatolopoulos thinks so. The ball to the back post is not a bad idea from O'Neill. Now the referee says, I saw it, it hit the hand, but it was in a very natural position.
Well, again, we've seen the game ebb and flow back the other way. There's the final ball in from O'Neill, and Farrell clearing under pressure.
Taken short. O'Neill, Moragas, that's a good challenge from Ángel Torres. With just a couple of minutes left in the first half. It's been a really classic derby match. Cagey, tactical, both sides knowing that there's a lot to be lost as well as gained in the opening 45 minutes of a derby, and Stormroux just can't keep it in.
Here's another look at that handball. You can see Stamatolopoulos, he really flicks that ball into the hand, doesn't he, in a natural position.
It probably would have just hit the knee right behind it as well. Referee had a clear view of it. That's a great ball back towards Archie Goodwin. And his first little sighting, in fact, it's been well defended by Brad Tapp.
You can see the storms, clouds are rolling in. Maybe we're going to see some lightning and thunder on the field in the second half. It's been relatively tame in the first half.
As long as there's no lightning off the pitch. We don't need another lightning delay that we had last night for MacArthur. Ball in, Vukovic is forced to stretch and punch. Now Timmins. And that's a more comfortable one for Danny Vukovic. I can see Poor old Tristan McManus looking rather worriedly towards the clouds down there as well, as he sees them coming across. We're into stoppage time, just the 1 minute. We haven't had many stoppages at all in this one. Both sides have had half chances. Often in these matches it can be a little lapse in concentration as well. Max Ballard in the end had the best chance of the first half. Good double save from Ryan Scott. Here is Ballard. Back with Danny Vukovic. Is there going to be time for one last effort in the opening stanza? Ballard, he's been allowed to run. He's run into trouble, surrounded by gold shirts. And there is no time for the free kick. An F3 derby that's been scrappy and contested, and yet to create any real sparks as the clouds threaten overhead. This one is evenly poised at the break from McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle. It's the Jets 0, Mariners 0. And we'll head off to a quick break before we return with all the halftime show.
Welcome back to McDonald Jones Stadium, where it's been a fiery F3 derby, but honours are all square at half-time between the Newcastle Jets and the Central Coast Mariners. There have been a few chances at both ends, but Danny Vukovic and Ryan Scott have kept clean sheets so far. Welcome to the Hungry Jacks half-time show. And Daniel McBreen, it has been one of those games, hasn't it? You spoke about it in commentary, quite cagey in a derby, and as I said, both teams have had their opportunities, but really nothing clear-cut.
No, it's been a lot of halves and maybes and heres and could have been this, and it's just the Jets have been very organised and well structured in defence.
Yeah.
The Mariners have had a lot of ball, but haven't really moved it quick enough to really disrupt that defence. So we've seen the game play out mostly through the middle of the park. All
right, let's take a look at the Harvey Norman highlights for the first half at McDonald Jones Stadium. And once again, at half a few chances, both teams were looking to transition, but the balls weren't quite there, and Mikael Docker's had a good start to the game.
Yeah, look, and this was sort of the whole story of the game, wasn't it, where there looked like a half chance was opening up, a ball would be put across the box, it would be met by someone who wouldn't quite get a good touch on it, then someone else would get the ball and put another ball in, and defence was good as well. So just the cohesion for both teams in the right areas, which is the front third and the back third, particularly the front third, hasn't really been there. It's been the ball has been skidding off the pitch a lot too. It's very greasy. We can windy conditions now as well, so it has made it a little bit difficult. Not through a want of trying for both teams. They've tried to get into good areas. There's been good runs made by attackers, but it's just been a little clunky at both ends.
Yeah, Newcastle have probably looked a little more patient than the Mariners, you'd have to say. The Central Coast maybe with more of the clear-cut opportunities. Jacob Farrell's looked lively since coming back into the side after his suspension. That one was just out of reach. That would have been a really big opportunity for the Central Coast Mariners late as that first half wore on.
Yeah, look, I think probably the best two opportunities, as you say, was Ballard. This one here, as he just anticipates that the ball might fall, gets the first touch, and then Ryan Scott has to save from the rebound off his own player, and that header missed by Storm Rue. I think he just mistimed the header. If he got anything on that, Ryan Scott was in no man's land, and that could have been gone in the net.
Mariners have had a lot of ball, but haven't really made it count in the final third. You can see there with the Jets leading when it comes to corners, and the Mariners so many more passes because they've had so much more ball, but the Jets have matched the Mariners in the final third there.
Yeah, they have. Like you said, there's been a little bit clunky in the end areas. Both keepers have been pretty protected pretty well and haven't had to do too much work. I'm sure that's what both their coaches will be in there now saying, okay, you're doing okay in those mid areas, but we need some more finesse in that final third.
Let's have a look at the standout players of the first half. The Paramount Plus Player Index has Mikael Docker on 79.1, and that gives you an indication that it hasn't been one of the greatest games of football. But he played some really nice balls through. There was one in the first half for Josh Nisbet, who cut back inside, and Max Ballard shot over the bar. He's been good tonight, Docker.
Yeah, he has. And Farrell, you can see there's no surprise Farrell up there as well, because both of those players look to get high and wide when they're in possession, and Farrell makes runs to try and get himself forward, whereas we've seen Docker coming a little bit wider and then trying to play balls like this in behind, or for the space that he's left for Nisbet or someone else to run into and roll it down the line. So it's no surprise to see those two. They've probably been the players who have been in the most dangerous positions more often than anyone else.
Yeah, I think this is the ball. He holds it up for Josh Nisbet, and then Max Ballard has an opportunity. It's good to see Mikael Docker playing forward, because obviously he's a player who came in maybe at right back, and then Storm Rue's made that position his own this season. So right midfield for Mikael Docker. Let's see what happens in the second half. Before we get there, Tristan McManus is having all sorts of fun out in the middle of the park, Tristan.
Right, thank you, boys. Yes, I am here on McDonald Jones. Who would have known that I'm going to score the opening goal in the F3 derby here? It's fantastic, right at bank. We've got Spaggy, Maverick, and someone else. I don't know who it is, but we've got all the kids from the Jets play clinics. As far as Tamworth, they're all coming here. They're all at this kids activation. We all feeling good? We all know how to put this ball in the net. You've not seen that like this. You ready? Let's hear it. 1, 2, 3.
Tara and Bros. Yeah, thanks very much, Tristan. What about that? It's hard to score against 3 goalkeepers, even if they are mascots.
Well, it's hard to score against 1 normally, so he's done all right. He's got the rebound. He followed, as all good strikers do, follow it in with his weaker foot and put it away.
It's not the only derby today, this one, the F3 derby, the Sydney derby as well. Sydney FC heading out west against the Wanderers. And there for us, Alex Brosk and Tara Rushton.
It's a battle of the big boppers here tonight at Combank Stadium. Another Sydney derby. Alex Brosk, former Sydney FC Championship Premiership winner. You are on enemy territory here tonight. But the big news, of course, looking at the first Sydney derby played at Combank Stadium for the Wanderers, so they come home, is that they get Marco Rudin back on the touchline.
Yeah, just in time for a big game. And look, there is that suspension hanging over him, but I dare say if he has to get up and into the face of that fourth official tonight in a big game, that's not going to stop him. So look, I think him up against Ufuk Talay, two former teammates and very good mates, makes for an interesting clash on the sideline. But on the field, I mean, we're expecting fireworks. The Wanderers beat Sydney over at Allianz Stadium 1-0 last time round, and Sydney will be out for revenge tonight.
So Sonny Kittle comes into midfield, 270 appearances from the Bundesliga and then 60 goals as well. So he's a bit of a change for the Wanderers.
It is a big change in midfield, but he has a lot of quality, a lot of experience. He's here till the end of the season, so I mean they have to start using him and seeing how quick he transitions. You know, the Wanderers will want to see the best out of him as soon as possible. This is a great game to get him in. He's got a lot of experience. And on Sydney's side, a couple of changes as well. Forced with Bratton being out, brings Maxi Burgess back into the side. And we know his history in this fixture with the amount of goals he's gotten, so looking for him to stand up as well.
And Sydney are on a run now, undefeated in the past 6, so they come in the form team.
They do, but look, it often gets said, form goes out the window in this game. I think it's going to be tense and tough in those opening 15, 20 minutes. Both sides, when they score first, they go on generally to win. So that opening couple of minutes is going to be fast, furious, a lot of tackles, and hopefully some goals to go with it.
Yeah, bring it on. We'd like some goals, wouldn't we? All right, Sydney derby, you won't want to miss it heading away soon.
Thank you, Tara. Yeah, live and free on 10 Volt. And of course, on Paramount. Stick around because the second half isn't far away. That is it for the Hungry Jacks halftime show. And the Mariners continuing to play in two fronts as well. They've got the AFC Cup zonal playoff against Odisha this Thursday at Central Coast Stadium.
Look at that ball from Nisbet. This is a big chance. Torres, the Colombian, has done it. And still Michael Doka, what a goal! Oh, that's extraordinary. 2 goals in 2 games. Here's a chance, maybe, late one. The Mariners have pinched it. Ronald Barcelos with only seconds remaining.
Welcome back to McDonald Jones Stadium, where it is scoreless in the 61st A-League edition of the F3 Derby. The Mariners are the opponents that the Newcastle Jets have played more than any other side in their A-League history. In fact, back in 2005, in an Oceania Champions League playoff match, it was the first ever official match that either team played. And it was against each other, and it was scoreless, and it went to penalties, and the Mariners won. There have been 2 matches played outside of the A-League, both Mariners victories, but otherwise in the A-League they've won 9 times here and lost 10, so they can square that ledger if they can find an unanswered goal in the second half. Otherwise, home and away, it is the Mariners that hold a slender advantage in the head-to-head. It's a similar story for the coaches as well, who are both in their first season of A-League football. Well, the first half ended scoreless. Certainly the stage is set now for the explosiveness of the F3 Derby to really come alight, Daniel McBreen, because they've felt each other out, these two sides, and now it's time for action.
Well, that it is. There was plenty of toing and froing in the middle third in that first half. Not too much action for either goalkeeper to be a part of, and I'm sure that's where both coaches at halftime just spoke to their team and said we need to be a little bit sharper in that final third. The Mariners did get the ball into wide areas as Lucas Moragas treats us to a little circus trick there and gets the throw in all wrong. He said it was greasy down there. Well, there you go, there's proof.
As you see the lineups at the bottom of your screen, there's a little bit of holding on as well between Docker and Moragas in there off the ball. O'Neill's done well as he gets away from Ballard. Aquilina for Timmins, back for Aquilina. Now wide with Dane Ingham. Steps past Farrell, it's well played, the cutback, oh, and it was just in between Timmins and Goodwin. Angel Torres just runs straight in fact, to Timmins there. It was Goodwin and Kankar who's charging forward, the central defender trying to show a little more urgency. He's having a few words as he runs past Thomas Aquilina as well. A fair bit of holding on. It's going to be a Jets throw. A couple of former Western Sydney Wanderers at the back for the Jets. A few of them spattered all over the line-up, in fact. Wilmering, Aquilina, Costa Grozos on the bench as well this afternoon. As O'Neill and Docker have collided and both have stayed down. And the referee has the yellow card out. He's just checking whether both players need attention.
Well, for me, it just looked like Doc had just lost his footing totally, and as O'Neill went in to tackle, Docker falls down on him.
In fact, they both hit the ball at the same time as well. Docker is back to his feet. It looks as though it's going to be yellow for O'Neill.
Well, I don't think, to be fair, I thought it was a great challenge, if anything. Docker slipped at the wrong moment, I guess, for Brandon O'Neill, but I don't think there was anything wrong with the challenge at all, but it looks like he's going to receive a yellow card.
There goes the number. Time and date into the book. A little word of apology, I think, from Docker, saying, don't know how you got that.
It was all friendly, wasn't it? Maybe a little bit of disbelief there, but they'll take it.
Both players received treatment, so normally both would have to leave the field of play for a moment, except the yellow card for O'Neill means that Docker can stay on. So the Mariners have a player advantage as well for this set piece. Everyone back in the penalty box for the Jets. Oh, Ballard's delivery, it takes a little touch, falls for Nisbet, who completely mishits, but then failed to clear the Jets. And finally now they do. And the flag is up for offside anyway, so Brandon O'Neill rejoins, quotas restored, and we'll get back underway with the free kick for the home side.
Well, I'm not too sure if this is offside from the original ball in, or Brian Kaltak there coming back into the play.
Timmins, it's done well with Stamatolopoulos. Aquilina was trying to get past Tappert, almost fell for Stamatolopoulos, who in his rush to take the throw quickly didn't take it from the right place.
Well, flashbacks to a couple of years ago where the ball boy or ball girl picked the ball up quickly and threw it down the line to one of the Jets players, who threw it in quickly way down the park and ended up in a goal. Stamatolopoulos looking to recreate that one.
Well, all the Jets players warming up behind the goal there thought that that was a corner, as Jacob Farrell was trying to just shield it out of play, and in the end managed to do so. That bench does feature Reno Piscopo for the first time since he's returned from injury. Clayton Taylor is there as well, and Italy-bound Trent Bahaja as well. So perhaps some attacking options. We will see if Rob Stanton decides it's time to just be a little more adventurous as the second half goes on.
Well, I would like to see the front pair of Stamatolopoulos and Goodwin just working a little bit more together. They've worked hard in defence. We've seen Stamatolopoulos come short for the ball, which he likes to do, hold the play, get the ball to a teammate, bring the team up. I haven't really seen the two of them working off each other really in tandem and in unison as much as we probably would have liked.
O'Neill, oh, he slipped at the crucial moment. Ballard, he's got Jing Reese, Nisbet, who steps over looking for Torres. And Thomas Aquilina comes herring back to retrieve the situation for the Jets. Now Wilmering, that's a good ball. Ingham with space to run into. Lung-busting run from Torres at the back, and oh, Stamatolopoulos almost played it back into the path of Goodwin.
Well, that was exactly the kind of play you want to see from a strike pair.
Oh, as the flag stays down for the moment for Mikael Docker. Nisbet and Reese in the middle. And he can't beat the first man in Mark Natter. As we race from one end to the other, and all of a sudden the F3 derby has become unbridled.
Well, an opportunity at one end, almost, and then immediately Mikael Docker breaks down the other. Broke the offside trap. Timed his run to perfection.
Farrell picked off by Aquilina. As always, full of running. Now there's 4 forward for the Jets as well. Goodwin stays on his feet. Wow. The referee has spotted a foul there by Archie Goodwin on Brian Kaltak.
Well, I'm not too sure about that one. There was contact, I guess, on that one. We're both looking at each other.
Well, good call.
Yeah.
He didn't look at it first, but Kaltak just nipped the ball away before being tackled, and to be fair, Archie Goodwin didn't make too much of a big deal of it either. Now, up we come to the northern end, where the Mariners are attacking, where the majority of their supporters are congregated as well. Torres with Farrell. Quickly back to his feet. Ten minutes gone in the second half. There's been a more open second stanza already, as here goes Torres racing away. Closed down by Ingham, both players appealing for the call, and it goes the Jets' way.
Well, there's definitely been more energy in this second half, hasn't there? Both teams showing a little bit more urgency to move the ball, looking to go forward quicker.
And in their urgency to get going quicker, the Jets almost turned it over there in a dangerous part of the field. Ryan Scott and Philip Cankar not on the same wavelength. Ooh, Ryan O'Neill straight into Timmins. Nisbet with Ballard. Stormrow just manages to keep it in play with the help of Mikael Docker. Here's Farrell again.
It's just a sloppy touch there, wasn't it, from Angel Torres? He's complaining to Farrell about the pass, but I think he just got his feet all mixed up there.
Yeah, looked a little bit lazy. Here's Docker, though, as they come again. Cleared by Cankar, only as far as Bradley Tapp. Hall with Rue. We saw this in the first half. When the Mariners were able to put their foot on the ball, the Jets sat back. This is where they're dangerous, though. Nisbet hits it. But it never really looked like causing Ryan Scott any more trouble than that.
Well, he had the opportunity to hit it, and he dillied and dallied, and then when he finally decided, I'm thinking just hit it there, and he's indecisive, and then he's stretching, and the moment was lost. I think that's probably one thing with Josh Nisbet that we've seen. When he's around that edge of the box, he needs to back himself a little bit more. Gets himself into good positions. You can pose the question, if that was a striker or an attacking midfielder who played there their whole career, there would be no holding back on that first attempt. He would have unleashed the shot.
Well, he has scored in the AFC Cup this season, but nearly everyone has in this Mariners side. They have scored plenty of goals on their way to their interzonal semi-final. Now there is a triple change coming for the Newcastle Jets. Just before the hour mark, Trent Bahaja, who we just heard earlier today via Paramount Plus commentator Phil Moss that he has signed a pre-contract with a City B club, Trent Bahaja. So we'll be heading there at the end of the season. He's coming on. So too is Costa Grozos and also Clayton Taylor. Plenty of rumours circulating about the future of the number 13 as well, who has just signed a new contract with the Jets. Oh, that's a good ball. Storm Roux. First time cross as well for Jing Rees, and it's in the back of the net. It's a brilliant header. The flag is up for offside against Storm Roux. It will be checked, but take nothing away from Jing Rees' header, contorting his body and somehow directing it into the top corner.
Well, it was a looping cross, and they're so difficult because you have to generate your own power. Here's another look, and you can see there, yeah, Storm Roux just goes a little too early. And all those yellow shirts, they went up over on that far side. But look here, look, he generates the power in the angle himself in between two defenders, but to no avail. And we'll come back for a Newcastle free kick.
And we are back underway. Scott goes long towards Stamatolopoulos. Taylor with Bahaja. Grozos is dispossessed. That's a great ball from Nisbet for Docker again. Again, Jing Rees is in the middle. Docker taking on Moragas. Docker from a tight angle. It's palmed away by Ryan Scott. And Storm Roux again was looking to send Docker back again, but he was still recovering from the first run.
Well, they just seem to have lifted a little bit, the Mariners, haven't they? There's a couple of occasions now they've got in behind. They're looking to pressure this Newcastle Jets team, who have been one of the best first half teams in the competition. But it's the second halves that have let them down more often than not this year.
Taylor. Oh, Bahaja has almost got there, and then Vukovic has kicked it straight into Brian Kaltak, who gratefully falls to the ground in relief more than anything else.
Well, that's the pace of Trent Bahaja. He looked like he was no chance, and then all of a sudden Danny Vukovic was lifting the heart rate to get there. Brian Kaltak right into the midriff, and he just watched it sail harmlessly wide.
O'Neill, ball to the back post. Natta. Oh, that's a poor header. Free header at the back post.
That's disappointing, isn't it? He found himself free. The opportunity to either try to lob that ball and guide it into the far post, or back across the goal where his teammates were waiting. In the end, it was just a poor looped header over the goal. Opportunities have been few and far between. Need to do better than that.
Well, set pieces are perhaps the opportunity for the Jets against a Mariners side who are looking more and more dangerous. But here comes Taylor. His cross bypasses Bahaja, who had slipped. Aquilina, who you will always find running on the end of any hopeful ball forward. Almost got there again. Grozos with Taylor. His introduction has already made a difference, and he goes again. It's a good run from Moragas, and he's won a corner, another corner for the Jets. So their three substitutions have already made an impact.
He's had an instant impact, hasn't he? Looking to get on the ball, mobile, moving the ball quickly. You see here, as he plays the ball wide, he just takes off. No one goes with him, and it's left to Dan Hall to get across, make the covering tackle.
Corner taken down in front of the terrace, Nova Castria. Aquilina, the cross in, headed away by Farrell. Aquilina goes again. There's no free kick. Grozos with Ingham. Thought about going left. Bahaja. It's Philip Kankar, in fact, who's in the middle, asking for the cross to come. It's going to be another corner now for the Jets. Moragas involved, as we can see down on the Mariners bench. I thought there was going to be a little bit of movement. Miguel De Pizio has just run back to the bench, but he's just watching as this corner is defended. Again, Philip Kankar has stayed forward. Not for long. Grozos. As there's no second phase ball for the Jets, they have to try and rebuild, and it's a hopeful switch of play that only ends up at the feet of Mikael Docker. He almost gave it away. O'Neill ensures that he does. And now the break is on again. Taylor, straight past Tapp, who tries to foul him but can't. And then Farrell with the interception. The Jets want the free kick. Referee says enough advantage was played, as Torres just gives it straight back, and the Mariners are starting to turn over the ball worryingly here.
Yeah, they are.
As here goes Stamatolopoulos. In space, he manages to get there. Oh, and then Aquilina's touch is heavy.
Well, both teams have been turning the ball over, not keeping that possession. They're not bouncing the ball around. Sometimes it feels as though they're trying to go a little too quick, trying to up the tempo a little too much. They're not settling on the ball first.
Ballard. Back with Tapp, a little bit of space for Nisbet. Max Ballard again. Inside. With Nisbet. Stormroo looks up, trying to measure the cross for Jing Rees. Again, he managed to get his head on it. He's been a lot more prominent as well in this second half.
Well, he has. That was a difficult one. I think he made his mind up to head it, and it dipped. As we see the substitution, Stormroo will leave the field, and Jing Rees, Miguel De Pizio and Edmondson to enter the fray.
That's a couple of attacking moves. So certainly Stormroo coming off will see Mikael Docker head back to that right back position. Miguel De Pizio ahead of him on that right side of midfield, and Edmondson a like-for-like swap with Jing Rees up front. Jing Rees, who just as he was really starting to look threatening, and now Edmondson with another opportunity, and perhaps this is the moment he's been waiting for as well in the F3 derby to score his first A-League goal. He did get a hat-trick in Gosford in the AFC Cup. And the 22-year-old Englishman already putting himself about.
Someone's told him it's a derby. He's been wondering where all the challenges have been.
That's the 2 yellow cards so far. Brian Kaltak and then Brandon O'Neill's at the start of the second half. Not that we're advocating for that, but you do want a certain intensity in a match with a reputation as fiery as the F3 Derby. Edmondson's touch with DiPizio. Edmondson, he's done well. DiPizio takes over. Edmondson ahead of him. Drives the cross in for Nisbet, who just flicked it up and over the crossbar.
Well, he's made a difference, Edmondson, already. He's been busy, lively, worked hard there. There's a decent ball across as well for the diminutive Nisbet, who got across the front of his defender. He just tries to flick it with the outside to the left. Can't quite keep it down.
And if the Mariners win today, they will win the F3 Derby trophy. As Vukovic comes and punches strong, and he's caught Trent Bohaja as well, who's stayed down.
He's not the first person to stay down after running into Danny Vukovic. He's probably my least favourite footballer of all time to run into. So strong. Little shake of the hands after, obviously. Trent, an ex-Mariner as well.
Exactly, knows it well. Well, if the Mariners, or if it finishes in a draw, the iconic F3 Derby trophy will go down to the final day of the season when these two sides meet again. The regular season, that is. The third and decisive meeting. It's the Mariners that hold the trophy, courtesy of 2 big wins last season. They've won 3 in a row against the Jets. They have never in their history made it 4 wins on the bounce against their arch rivals. They have, however, won the last 4 trips to McDonald Jones Stadium. Docker. DiPizio with Ballard. DiPizio again with Docker, back out with Ballard. Now DiPizio. Here's Hall. Kaltak. Farrell. Tap with a good ball to get the Mariners moving forward again with Docker. A little bit of space here for Nisbet. Now Torres. Angel Torres getting down to the byline, chips the ball back. They do have a big target now in the form of Ryan Edmondson. Aquilina, alert to the danger of a Nisbet drifting out to that left flank, managed to intercept. Good challenge, Aquilina. No, not good enough for the referee. Aquilina's not happy. Tap is tripped.
Well, I'm with you, Robbie. I thought that was a good challenge as well. Aquilina, he can't believe it. Neither could the Jets faithful in the stands.
Well, this one has been played in the midfield so far, even if the Mariners have had a little more of the ball now. Moragas was down on the far side of the pitch. He was just adjusting his shoe. Here's Farrell. We're coming up to the last 15 minutes, which haven't been a happy time for the Jets this season. They've conceded 10 goals in the last 15 minutes of matches. That's the second worst record in the league. And the Mariners, well, they have the second best record in the league in the last 15 minutes. They've scored 11, which is only behind perennial late showers MacArthur. Dan Hall. Clever little ball for Ballard. Space outside with Docker. Docker, Ballard leaves it. Nisbet fires! And Nisbet scores! His first A-League goal came against the Jets. And his first of this season does as well, as he runs to celebrate with the travelling public.
Well, it's been long awaited in the A-League for Josh Nisbet this season. On the Harvey Norman replay, you could see he was picked out well. Wasn't the greatest of first touches, but he reacts well. Little step over, didn't quite know where the ball was, and as he turned this time, he didn't hesitate, and he swung the left foot. And Ryan Scott couldn't get the arm out quick enough. And just when you were saying, Robbie, the Mariners, they finish strong and score plenty goals late, Josh Nisbet stands up and delivers.
It really has been the Achilles heel of Newcastle as well this season. Josh Nisbet to go with the 6 assists as his first goal of the campaign. The 4th of his A-League career in match number 114. And are the Mariners moving top of the table, at least for 24 hours. Well played, DiPizio again. Edmondson back. This is nicely worked. DiPizio still helps it on its way. Nisbet. Maybe just thought about it for a moment. Ballard, that's a good ball for Farrell. He shoots, great slop, and then cleared by Grozos. Good strong left hand from Ryan Scott. The Jets have to be careful. They're under the pump at the moment. Ooh. Well, Bradley Tapp has gone flying in. Philip Kankar has taken umbrage to it. Now, those two want to keep going. Aquilina now, and the F3 derby has exploded into life. Just took the spark of a goal.
Well, it's all something and nothing for me. It was a late challenge. It was a yellow card. It was all done with, and I think Kankar ran in trying to make something more out of it.
That's reckless.
But I don't think the studs weren't up, were they? It was... I'm not sure if he caught him with the studs.
Now, Bradley Tapp is claiming that there was a little headbutt there from Philip Kankar. He certainly came racing in. Wasn't pleased with the challenge, which was a dangerous one. No doubt about it. Grozos is back to his feet. Just have a look here. Now, I'm not sure as we see it in slow-mo on the big screen, and everyone in the stadium is seeing it, including all the players. I wonder if Philip Kankar's a little bit worried seeing that.
He looks a little sheepish now, doesn't he? Now, we saw something very similar, didn't we, in the Melbourne derby, was it? Yakalish on Geria.
That's right.
Which we thought should have been a red card, but went with a yellow, I believe, at the time.
For both players.
For both.
It was.
And this will be an interesting one here.
Well, this has several elements to it, doesn't it? There's the initial challenge, of course, which Bradley Tapp is going to receive her booking for. Now Caltac picked up the booking in the first half, and it's a yellow card for Philip Kankar, who is probably quite happy to see just that.
And fair enough, let's get on with the game.
Exactly.
As I said, I thought it was all something out of nothing.
Now, if the Jets can focus on the football for a moment, because they went through a very bad 5-minute spell there where they could have almost conceded a second. Torres, fantastic run forward, and he's fouled in the end by Aquilina. Ten minutes left for the Jets to avoid losing a 4th consecutive F3 derby for the first time in their history, to avoid conceding a 5th consecutive defeat against the Mariners here at their home ground, McDonald Jones Stadium. Docker, dispossessed by Taylor as he tried to go past Ballard, just turns it over. Farrell, Nisbet still full of running as Jacob Farrell has caught Aquilina here. Flash on the head, and it's really knocked him about. There it was, just on the back of the head. It was like a groggy boxer. He's come straight off. Aquilina, as Reno Piscopo returns to the field in the A-League. His first appearance in a month after he came off against Melbourne Victory after just 9 minutes. Now the crowd are starting to find their voice and get involved as well, because they don't want the Mariners wasting any time. Bizio, he's done well, stays on his feet, but Moragas stays with him as well. Piscopo. Great play, Angel Torres. He's really quick and strong, Angel Torres. When he gets his mind on the job, he can be a hugely influential player for this Mariners side, as Edmondson gets the cross in. And I mean even more influential than he has been already, because he's had a fantastic season.
Yeah. And sometimes he can drift in and out of the game, can't he? He does tend to come to life at the end of games as well. Seems to sometimes go into hibernation for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden there he is again, causing havoc. Pops up with another goal.
Depizio's had a good game since coming on. Now Edmondson. Strong. Edmondson. Almost got the better of Mark Natter. He runs it down, so it'll be a defensive throw for the Jets.
He's been very energetic as well, hasn't he, Edmondson, since coming on? Showed his pace on a couple of occasions. Really aggressive as well.
Well, he and Depizio helped stem the tide, didn't they? Just when the Jets and their 3 substitutions looked like they were getting on top.
Yeah.
So there's the ladder as it stands. The Knicks, with a game in hand, have been knocked off the perch for the moment. Anyway, they play tomorrow against Adelaide, and a point will be enough to see them move back to the top of the table. But the Mariners continue their charge. Piscopo was looking for Bahaja. Just over 5 minutes left. Clean sheet number 9 is just 5 minutes away for the Mariners as well. And we talk a lot about their attack, but their defence has also been outstanding this season. They have 6 clean sheets in their last 8 matches in all competitions before this evening. So this would make it 7 clean sheets in 9. And they say you win championships with defences. Last season, they probably won it with their attack.
They also say that good teams find a way to win when they're not particularly playing that well. Now, I don't want to say that they've been poor tonight, but it's been a scrap again, hasn't it? It was a scrap against Western Sydney a couple of weeks ago at home. They had to play a different style last weekend after a long match midweek. So they're finding ways and different ways to win matches.
And they have to, because they're playing a lot of football. They've got another 5 matches coming up in the next 2.5 weeks, with a match against Indian outfit Odisha in Gosford on Thursday. Then the Thursday after, they travel as Brad Tapp makes way, and it's a return to the field for Harry Steele. And that's great for Mariners fans to see as well. It's another option in the middle of the park as well. Stamatolopoulos, free kick, and a yellow card for Max Ballard.
He just drove into the space, didn't he, Stamatolopoulos? I'm sure he got his body between the ball and Ballard, and not sure if he thought he was going to get a touch on the ball, or he just thought, well, this is a dangerous situation, I need to bring him down.
Now there's a small committee standing over the ball for the Jets. Piscopo has stepped away. Stamatolopoulos, who wasn't there originally, has now joined, and he's placing the ball. So is this one for the league's leading scorer? Everyone else steps away, so there's no disguising it for Danny Vukovic. No doubt in the mind. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos hits it. Oh, that was one of those floaters as well that has found a victim in the wall. Dan Hall is okay, and he says he doesn't need anyone to come and check on him. Stamatolopoulos just telling them that was headed into the top corner.
He said, will you move out of the way, please?
It's well played from Piscopo, managed to get the cross in. Now Ballard clears. Nisbet charging forward. Kankar manages to see it out of play. Referee quick to avoid another moment between the two sides. Tells Kankar just to get on with things. Docker in front of Taylor, or DiPizio's tried to turn in front of the marauding Moragas. The final 60 seconds of regulation time. Do the Jets have a surprise in store for us? Oh, Kankar's given it away cheaply. And Steele just couldn't release it quickly enough, but he has drawn the free kick.
It's just what the Mariners wanted, isn't it? Just to eke out a few more seconds and get closer and closer to that 90-minute mark.
"13 shots to 5 in favour of the Mariners. 4 on target against just 1 for the Jets. In the end, for all the huff and puff, as we enter stoppage time, there hasn't been enough concrete chances for the Jets in front of goal, and the Mariners will be looking to get their hands on that piece of concrete themselves. The F3 Derby Trophy, which will be theirs for the 23-24 season if they make it 2 wins from 2 ahead of the third meeting between these two sides on the final day of the season, which may yet have its importance. Torres. He's managed to get the cross in. Kankar with Grozos. DiPizio trying to run him down. It's run out of trouble by Costa Grozos. Now Moragas looks up the line. Oh, missed by Docker. Not by Kaltak, who finds Max Ballard. Farrell hasn't got forward as much in this second half, certainly not since the goal has gone in. He's switched focus to preserving the lead rather than looking to extend it. Oh, as Nisbet has got away. Oh, O'Neill now with Ingham. Poor, wasted by Brandon O'Neill. Good challenge from Ingham. Kankar back in. Oh, and O'Neill gives it away a second time, trying to force the issue with Piscopo. And now Torres is away this time. Edmondson's in the middle. Angel Torres. Well defended, Kankar. It was an extravagant dribble from Angel Torres.
Well, he did well there, Kankar. As Torres looked to cut inside. Just held his footing well. Got a touch.
O'Neill, this time he finds Reno Piscopo, but Bahaja can't find a way through. 2 minutes left. 2 minutes for the Jets to try and avoid a 4th defeat, to go with 2 draws in their last 6 matches. 2 minutes for the Jets to try and prevent their arch enemies, the Central Coast Mariners, from going provisionally top of the table. 2 minutes left to restore some pride of a season that is slowly slipping away. Another change coming. Christian Theoharis is coming on for Angel Torres, who's been very good without scoring this evening.
He doesn't look happy to be coming off, does he? It's just 1 more minute for me to get another goal here.
Well, they've got so much football coming up again, the Mariners. And Mark Jackson has played Josh Nisbet in nearly every single minute of the season, in every competition that they've played. He is incredibly fit and strong. Nisbet, Ballard's just about joined him as well, those two in the middle of the park. Torres is a little bit more explosive, goes on those winding runs where he really needs his pace. Hingham, the cross in. Stamatolopoulos trying to bring it down, but it's a high boot. That may have caught the head of Dan Hall.
First look, I thought that was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I thought Dan Hall may have been putting the head down a bit as well. Maybe not as much as I thought. It did look like Dan Hall more headed Stamatolopoulos' foot though, didn't he? And then once he got the free kick, everything seemed to be fine again.
Not fine for Rob Stanton, whose side have conceded the Derby defeat, and you can see what it means to the coaching staff, the players and the fans of the Central Coast Mariners, who were made to work very, very hard this evening for the 3 points. But it is another 3 points that sends them provisionally top of the Isuzu Ute A-League standings. There's now 1 loss in 16 for the defending champions, who are hunting down the Wellington Phoenix and looking every bit favourites for the title once again. As for the vanquished this evening, the Newcastle Jets, well, they fought hard, they fought with their strengths, which are to try and counter their opponents as much as possible, and then hope that a little moment of magic from Apostolos Stamatolopoulos could make the difference. In the end, it wasn't to be, and Josh Nisbet's first goal of the season, 15 minutes from time, proved to be the difference in this 61st F3 derby. It's all finished here in Newcastle. Central Coast Mariners 1, Newcastle Jets 0. And let's head straight down to Tristan McManus.
Thanks, Robbie. Yeah, I'm here with Josh Nisbet. Josh, 4th goal for the Mariners, first of the season. What a game to get it in.
Yeah, look, I think it was only going to be a 1-goal game once we got past like the 15-20 minute mark, and yeah, thankfully we got the goal and we got the clean sheet today, so brilliant.
It wasn't a performance from the Mariners that we usually expect to see and get, but the result, again, that's the one that we're always used to, and that puts you top of the table. Huge.
Yeah, look, we'd love to play good footy, but sometimes just the energy of the game, it's very difficult to. You've got so much pressure coming in all directions, but yeah, look, it shows the character, side of the character, and like, look, we didn't play that well, but we still got the win.
And again, I suppose they gave you a really tough game, as you mentioned there as well. Were they better than you expected them to be today?
Oh, everyone in this competition's quality, so you know you got to be up for it on the game, and yeah, and thankfully we were.
AFC Cup next. Let's look at it. Fantastic. Well done. Congratulations, guys. I'm also here with Dane Ingham. Dane, unfortunate there today. You gave a really good account of yourselves, though.
Yeah, I mean, tough one. Yeah, we give Nizzy a little bit of room and he punishes us, so just got to work on that, I guess.
I suppose the other result, I don't know if you know or not, it's gone your way today at least. Again, you come up against Perth next week, then you have Adelaide, then you have City. They're 3 huge games, 3 6-pointers as well for yourself, so you have it all to do, but all in your own hands.
Yeah, like you said, obviously they kind of feel like 6-pointers because we're all kind of in and around the same area with those teams, but we just got to take it one game at a time. You know, Perth away is going to be a tough ask from the lads. Just need to get in and recover, just kind of learn from this one today and hopefully put something into work for next week.
I feel like every time, certainly I talk about you, it's always positive because you're playing really good football. You're not getting the results, though, obviously, that you want. So from your own point of view, obviously it's disappointing at the end, but is it deflating, or I mean, is there enough that you can take for these games, kind of looking forward, I suppose?
Yeah, it's half-half. I mean, it's kind of been like that all season. I guess it kind of gets to the point where it does get deflating for the group, but we have to pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off, you know. We can't keep saying that we're playing well, we're playing this, we're playing that. We've got to put in performances to get results now. That's what we play. We play for results. And I know we're young, but we have to learn quick because losing can become a habit, and we don't want that habit to stick around for long.
Good on you. I appreciate your time today. Thank you. Best of luck next week. There you go, guys. It's all finished here. Mariners, top of the league, 1 goal win. That's how it goes sometimes. We're going to have all the analysis of the post-match. The other side of the break. Stay with us.